There's been an update in the Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds versus Wayfarer Studios and Justin Baldoni.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have just detonated a courtroom move that's sending shockwaves far beyond Hollywood gossip. This isn't another red carpet distraction or carefully staged PR moment. This is a high-stakes legal gamble unfolding in real time, and the ripple effects are hitting harder than anyone expected. Insiders say the filing wasn't just bold, it was calculated, a strategic swing designed to shift momentum, control the narrative, and force the opposition into a corner. On paper, it looked aggressive. Behind the scenes, it may have been desperate. But here's where the story flips. The judge didn't respond the way their team anticipated. Instead of rubber stamping the move or letting it quietly slide through the system, the court's reaction raised eyebrows and serious questions. Legal analysts are calling it a subtle but significant signal, not a rejection, not a victory, something far more dangerous: scrutiny. And scrutiny changes everything, because once a judge signals hesitation, every argument gets dissected, every prior claim gets re-examined, every strategic maneuver suddenly carries risk. What was meant to be a power play could now open doors the couple may not have wanted opened. Behind closed doors, the tension is reportedly escalating. Advisors are scrambling, PR teams are recalibrating messaging, and legal strategists are reassessing whether this bold step accelerated control or accelerated exposure. This isn't tabloid noise, it's a courtroom chess match, and when high-profile reputations collide with judicial unpredictability, the fallout can reshape careers overnight. The real question isn't what move they made, it's why they made it now.
So I don't see anybody reporting on this. There's been an update in the Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds versus Wayfarer Studios and Justin Baldoni case. By the way, if you're not following this case and you are not in it, you can just keep scrolling. You don't have to leave a comment. You don't need to express yourself. Not everything on the internet needs to be for you. A lot of us are very invested. Okay, so interestingly enough, yesterday, Blake Lively's team filed essentially asking the judge for an extension to file their amendment. Okay, so just to slow that down for you. Blake Lively sued Wayfarer Studios. They then counter-sued them and were basically like, you guys are terrible. Here are the messages to prove it. And then Wayfarer Studios team essentially amended their complaint to include all of the stuff that us internet sleuths found about the New York Times, essentially showing that this article was a part of some larger scheme and that they had the data to prove it. So Blake Lively then said, when they showed up, well, we need time to now respond to their amendment, this New York Times amendment. Some other things were added as well, but that was kind of the guts of it. And the judge said, okay, that's fine. You need to file your amendments. Her time to file that was supposed to be Valentine's Day. So Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are due to file their amended complaint, just amending the original, shouldn't take much time, on February 14th.
Hold on, because Hollywood's so-called golden couple just tossed another curveball into an already explosive legal showdown. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have officially shaken Tinseltown with a move no one saw coming in their ongoing battle against Wayfarer Studios. The headline? They asked the court for more time to file their complaint. Yes, an extension. For two A-listers who launched this fight with confidence, polish, and carefully curated messaging, that request feels unexpected. It's like hosting the premiere of your own blockbuster and then asking the audience to wait outside while you finish editing the ending. So the obvious question is, why? When this saga first erupted, it had all the makings of a cinematic power clash: celebrity influence versus studio infrastructure, reputation versus retaliation. The public locked in fast, commentary channels lit up, industry insiders started whispering. Then the script flipped. Wayfarer Studios didn't just respond, they countersued, and suddenly the momentum shifted. Instead of steering the narrative, Blake and Ryan found themselves reacting to it. What began as a bold legal strike turned into a layered courtroom chess match, every filing scrutinized, every move dissected. Now here's where it gets interesting. The judge granted their extension request, but only by a single day. 1. Not a week, not even a few extra days to recalibrate, just 24 hours. In legal terms, that's not a gift, it's a signal. Judges don't casually limit extensions in high-profile cases unless they want to maintain pressure. A one-day allowance keeps the timeline tight. It says, proceed, but don't stall. Which raises even bigger questions. Is this about missing paperwork or mounting pressure behind the scenes? Some insiders suggest the delay could point to last-minute adjustments, possibly new filings, unexpected counter-arguments, or even settlement feelers being floated quietly away from the spotlight. Hollywood has always preferred polished resolutions over messy trials. And then there's the silence. No public clarification, no detailed explanation, not from the couple, not from Wayfarer, not from their legal teams. In an industry fueled by strategic leaks, that kind of quiet isn't accidental, it's controlled. And controlled silence usually means something is shifting internally. There's also timing to consider. Both Blake and Ryan reportedly have major projects in development. In Hollywood, optics matter. Courtroom turbulence can ripple into casting decisions, investor confidence, and brand partnerships. So is this delay tactical, a recalibration, a pressure valve, or simply a complex case hitting real-world friction? One thing is certain, this is no longer a straightforward complaint. It's a layered legal drama where every filing doubles as narrative warfare. And if history has taught us anything about celebrity courtroom clashes, it's this. The most dramatic twist rarely happens in the opening act. It happens when everyone thinks they've figured out the ending.
Today, actually yesterday, February 10th, it's dated, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds went back to Judge Lehman and were like, actually, we can't make that date. We can't do February 14th. We need more time. We actually, for some reason, need to pull together some more things in order to enter in our final complaint before we get this onto the schedule. And so they were asking specifically for them to move the extension date to March 5th, 2025. So from the 14th to the 5th, they want basically like another 2 weeks on top of another week. And in my head, I'm going like, for what? They're also asking to also extend the deadline for the time to file any motion to dismiss to March 20th. And so they got this in, and they write this like very, which I'll show on the show tomorrow, like respectfully, we're asking to amend, we need more time to amend. And like, I'm bringing this, I'm like, it feels like they're just buying themselves time. Like, what do you need time? You filed this lawsuit initially, you have the receipts, you got debunked. Why do you need much? If you're just telling the truth and you've got some smoking gun, drop it already. There's there's a compelling piece of this, by the way, where I'm not going to speak about it today. I'll wait for the show tomorrow. My life is crazy. 1 minute I'm like Brigitte Macron, and then the next minute I'm on a live talking about Blake Lives. I'm interested in everything. This is my problem in life. Anyways, for tomorrow, I'll get into what the theories are about why she's doing that. There was one TikToker who had his video removed because he was contacted and told essentially they're trying to lobby people to join a lawsuit so they can give the lawsuit some teeth. And I'm guessing that those people are saying, no way, Jose, I'm not getting involved in this mess, because there's zero upside in getting involved right now. I mean, you would just have to be a person who just had a knack for pain. I don't know, like just like into it, like a masochist. I don't know. Why would you want to get involved in it? It's so messy and it's so ugly. And Taylor Swift is trying to flee the country under umbrellas right now because she's getting dragged into this, and she still needs to be
Just when you thought this Hollywood courtroom saga had reached its climax, Judge Lyman dropped a ruling that blindsided everyone. Remember when Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds asked for extra time in their escalating legal fight with Wayfarer Studios? Yeah, the judge's response was colder than a frozen smoothie on Valentine's Day. And wait till you hear how many days he gave them. Let's set the scene. Judge Lyman sits at the bench, coffee nearby, staring straight into yet another dose of celebrity courtroom chaos. On one side, Blake and Ryan's legal team, hopeful, tense, maybe even a little desperate. On the other, Wayfarer Studios attorneys, locked in and ready to strike. Wayfarer didn't mince words. They pushed back hard. This isn't new, their lawyers argued. They've had ample time. They don't need another minute, let alone another day. Translation? This isn't a red carpet premiere. Move it along. And the timing? brutal. While the rest of the world was exchanging roses and heart-shaped chocolates, Blake and Ryan spent Valentine's Day waiting on a ruling that could reshape their entire case. No romance, just legal briefs, deadlines, and pressure thick enough to cut with a knife. So what did Judge Lyman do? Drum roll, he granted them one single day. That's it, 24 hours. Not a week, not a long weekend. One day. The judicial equivalent of hoping for a luxury watch and getting socks. And the message couldn't have been clearer. No more stalling. By limiting the extensions so sharply, Judge Lyman sent a quiet but powerful signal. I'm not buying delays. Get it together now. Legal insiders are already buzzing. Many see this as a turning point. This ruling suggests the court has zero interest in letting the case turn into a drawn-out Hollywood production, filled with PR tactics and strategic pauses. Hard facts, tight timelines, real consequences. And honestly, that tracks. Judge Lyman has a reputation for no-nonsense decisions and fast-moving proceedings. He's known for keeping cases on a short leash and refusing to indulge theatrics. Think less red carpet, more fast lane. In his courtroom, detours don't exist. Meanwhile, Wayfarer Studios is likely feeling pretty good. They walked in aiming to shut down the delay and walked out with momentum. The judge didn't give them everything, but he clearly sided with urgency over indulgence. So what does this mean? It means Blake and Ryan are officially on the clock. One more day to get everything in order. One more day to lock their strategy. One more day before the court expects them to move forward. No excuses. Whether they rise to the pressure or crack under it is still an open question. But one thing is undeniable. This is no longer celebrity drama. It's a real legal showdown with a judge who isn't here for the show. And trust me, this story is only getting hotter.
Is going back to this. So the judge came back with his decision, slapped him down. First, Wayfarer said we don't want them to be able to extend. This is ridiculous. What are we waiting for? Let's get this party started. And so their lawyers came in and were like, they're dragging their feet here. There's no reason. There is no reason why they can't meet this deadline of February 14th in terms of filing their amended complaint. Like me, I don't know about you guys, but you're doing Valentine's Day. I'm staying in to read this amended complaint. I'm not going to any restaurant. I need to hear. I need to read what they are going to try to drop back to answer Justin Baldoni. I am sorry, I'm not going to be stuck at some restaurant having to pick between 3 options on Valentine's Day when I could be reading an amended complaint filed by Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. That seems fun to me. I hope my husband, who definitely does not think that sounds fun, is up for that, because that's what we're going to be doing for Valentine's Day. Okay? So the judge gets both of their arguments. Wayfarer's they don't need more time. Blake's I do, but I can't really tell you why. And other than Ryan says, the lawyers say I need time. Judge Lehman just came back, slaps him down. He's no. Okay, I'm gonna give you more time. He does give them more time. He gives them one more day. Just love this guy. This is amazing. And his order, and he writes it back, he's just you have not presented a valid argument for why you need this extension. Drop your arguments here. What are your arguments? You got a lot of time to think about this. You had all year. Judge Lehman didn't say this I'm saying this now, but he's look, you had all year plotting to take down this guy. Okay, you had time to consider this. Okay, even your BFF Taylor knows something's up because she's not saying anything about your alleged sexual harassment. She's hiding under umbrellas. Getting on her plane, fleeing the Super Bowl after being booed. I don't believe you. Okay, Judge Lehman didn't say any of that, but he did say that he was only giving them a one-day extension. So rather than it being due on February the 14th, which is a Friday, he's giving them the weekend to scramble if they need extra time, and he's saying their amendment is due on the 17th. So technically, I could go out for Valentine's Day, and you could go out too. I wanted you guys to know that because he's giving them a one-day extension. I'm going to assume that they're going to take it until February 17th, but I will be watching. Obviously, I am on the case. I am now the security for the Baldoni team. That's not sure either. I never met him and I don't know him, but I feel in my heart that we are cousins. He's just my annoying, very happy, peaceful cousin who's just way too nice, and he just needs to get a noogies. I'm just gonna give him a noogies. If I ever meet Justin Baldoni, I'm gonna give him a noogies.
Buckle up, because this courtroom roller coaster just took another sharp turn. Remember that explosive article from the New York Times that had everyone whispering behind closed doors? What many thought was the full story may have been just the beginning. Behind the headlines, a much bigger narrative appears to be unfolding, one that could explain why Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are pushing for more time in their legal battle with Wayfarer Studios. Let's rewind. After Wayfarer Studios hit back with a countersuit, the tone of the case shifted dramatically. What started as a headline-grabbing lawsuit quickly evolved into a high-stakes chess match. The NYT coverage amplified the drama, fueling speculation and intensifying scrutiny. So why would Hollywood's golden couple risk frustrating the court by asking for an extension? Here's where the speculation ramps up. Industry chatter suggests Blake and Ryan may be attempting to widen the scope of their case, not just legally, but publicly. The theory? Strength in numbers. If more high-profile figures align with them, the lawsuit could appear less personal and more like a broader industry issue. But insiders claim those efforts haven't gained traction. If true, that would explain the urgency and the pressure. In Hollywood, alliances matter. Silence from peers can speak just as loudly as public support. Adding another layer, social media discussions have hinted at behind-the-scenes maneuvering. Some posts alleging recruitment efforts reportedly disappeared, sparking even more online debate. Coincidence? Possibly. But in the age of viral narratives, perception spreads fast. Then came the ruling from Judge Lyman. Instead of granting a generous extension, he allowed just one extra day. 24 hours. Not a week, not even a long weekend. That decision sent a clear signal. Celebrity status won't bend courtroom timelines. The legal world took notice. It was firm, calculated, and unmistakably direct. And then there's the name floating around the rumor mill, Taylor Swift. Details remain unclear, and no formal filings publicly confirm any involvement, but even speculation about a figure of her magnitude entering the orbit of this case is enough to ignite online frenzy. In today's media ecosystem, a single association can reshape the narrative overnight. So what's the end game? One possibility, Blake and Ryan aim to reframe the lawsuit as something bigger than a private dispute, positioning it as a larger conversation about industry practices. That strategy could shift public perception. Another possibility? They're simply recalibrating under pressure. With only one extra day granted, the clock is ticking. Every filing, every move, every statement now carries amplified weight. Will they deliver a strategic counterpunch? Or is this extension merely a brief pause before the next major twist? One thing is certain, this isn't just celebrity drama anymore. It's a fast-moving legal showdown, and the next development could change everything. Stay tuned.
Anyways, that's the update. I will give you more on what is allegedly going on, allegedly in the background of what their strategy is of basically pleading with anybody to get involved with this case. I'll tell you where that tidbit is coming from. Also, as a major thing, this is not a joke. One of Ryan Reynolds' teachers growing up reached out to me and broke to me some insane things about little Ryan Reynolds. Like, basically, he was always a little cray-cray. And he's got some behavioral issues, and I'm gonna read that on the show tomorrow because that's just funsies. That feels like a hump day funsies vibe. Anyways, that is a summation. Judge has shot her down. We are going to be able to read Blake and Ryan's amendment to their lawsuit on the 17th, being the absolute latest. See you guys then.
Remember when Taylor Swift and Blake Lively were the ultimate friendship goals? Matching holiday photos, cozy birthday tributes, red carpet moments that screamed unbreakable bond. For years, their friendship felt untouchable. But now, that picture-perfect alliance appears to be under a microscope, and the timing couldn't be more dramatic, because Taylor's name is suddenly orbiting Blake and Ryan Reynolds' headline-grabbing legal battle with Wayfarer Studios, and not in the way fans ever expected. Let's rewind. As Blake and Ryan stepped into this escalating courtroom fight, something else happened quietly in the background. Taylor went silent. No public support, no subtle Instagram nods, no cryptic lyrics for fans to decode, just silence. And in Hollywood, silence is rarely accidental. Fans immediately noticed. The same Taylor who fills stadiums and dominates headlines suddenly seemed to vanish from the conversation. Rumors began swirling that she's actively avoiding being pulled into the drama, allegedly even steering clear of paparazzi questions. But here's where speculation turns explosive. Industry whispers suggest Taylor could potentially be called as a witness. That means testimony, under oath. If that were to happen, it would instantly transform this case from celebrity lawsuit to cultural spectacle. Why would she matter? Because Taylor and Blake have shared years of close friendship, private vacations, holidays, family time. It's reasonable to assume they've had conversations behind closed doors about major life events, including business decisions and legal disputes. If she has relevant knowledge, that could become significant. Or, and this is just as important, her silence could simply be strategy. High-profile legal teams often advise clients to avoid any public statements when there's even a remote chance of involvement. In celebrity legal battles, one misplaced comment can create weeks of complications. So, is there a rift, or is this careful brand protection? It's also worth remembering Taylor has managed intense media cycles before. From global tour scrutiny to high-profile public moments, she understands how quickly narratives spin. Staying quiet may not signal distance, it may signal discipline. Then, as if this saga needed more layers, another unexpected angle surfaced. A former teacher from Ryan Reynolds' childhood reportedly shared anecdotes describing him as mischievous and boundary-pushing in his early school years. Harmless nostalgia? Probably, but in the current climate, every resurfaced detail gets dissected. Let's be clear, childhood stories don't define an adult's character. Ryan has openly discussed anxiety and pressure in interviews, and he's widely recognized today as a businessman, father, and philanthropist in addition to his acting career. Still, the timing of these resurfaced stories raises eyebrows. In high-stakes public disputes, narratives often expand beyond the core issue. And at the center of it all is the actual legal deadline. Blake and Ryan requested additional time to amend their complaint. Judge Lehman granted only one extra day, a clear message that the court expects momentum, not delay. Now, all eyes are on February 17, 2025. That's when filings are expected to clarify the next stage of this battle. Will new evidence surface? Will alleged connections be confirmed or dismissed? Will Taylor remain silent or step into the spotlight? In celebrity legal wars, extensions often signal complexity behind the scenes. That doesn't automatically mean weakness. It can mean strategy, negotiation, or recalibration. But one thing is undeniable. This isn't just a lawsuit anymore. It's a high-profile narrative involving power, friendship, public image, and legal precision. A courtroom drama playing out under global scrutiny. And if Hollywood has taught us anything, the biggest twist usually comes when everyone thinks they've figured it out. Stay tuned.